Hey, happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome to another Chamber Check In episode from Idaho's only five-star accredited chamber. It's Operation Thank You Day today, so thank you to all the volunteers who were out there delivering packets and delivering our new Spotlight membership directories. We kicked off the day at 8 a.m. with a rah-rah session and a great breakfast, and we had about 80 volunteers in the office this morning, Anya, and it was an incredible energy. And we're going to finish out the evening with an after hours at SunWest Bank and Operation Thank You Day. Again, thank you to all the volunteers. We're really excited. I just had to mention that a little bit before we get started. But Anya, these chamber check-ins started about 3 years ago, and they're great ways of telling and sharing our members' origin stories, their products, services, but most importantly, the people. And today, I have you, Anya, and let me just introduce you really quick. Today I have the pleasure of sharing a chamber member business called Rise Visible. And Rise Visible is helping your clients or their clients elevate visibility through digital marketing solutions. And Anya, founder and CEO with me today. Hi, Anya.
Hey, how are you?
I'm terrific. Hey, thanks for carving out a little time with me today and help sharing the story. And like I mentioned, let's hear a little bit about you. Why don't you give us the 30,000 foot view and your history of work that led you to becoming an entrepreneur?
Sure. I am the CEO of Rise Visible. I am an accidental entrepreneur. It wasn't something that, although I say that, but I have pictures of me when I was about 8 years old, sitting at my grandma's kitchen table with a big, huge pencil with Santa on it and an old rotary phone and stacks of wallpaper books. And I was like an interior designer. But as I grew older, I really didn't think about entrepreneurship. I really wanted to actually be a therapist. So that was my goal is to came from a very challenging home environment, and I wanted to help people who had challenging environments or went through challenging circumstances in their life. And as I was in college and really excited about my future, I started to have health issues. And those health issues really shifted where I was. I went in and out of doctors and in and out of places, and everybody kept telling me there was nothing wrong with me. And I kept just working and trying to just live within the world. And I thought perhaps I should move and maybe that would help. I thought because of my challenging environment growing up that maybe living in the same vicinity may not have been great. So I picked up and moved to a different state, trying to reinvent myself, and things only started to get worse. And this is not a negative story. It's really good. I know it sounds kind of like you're going down but it really did create a beautiful story and kind of a really interesting accidental entrepreneurship. So I moved to St. Louis from Michigan, and I was going to my first day of a new job, and the World Trade Center happened. And I was in an office with people I had never met. I had been there for maybe an hour, and screaming happened, and I ended up going in there, and I didn't know what to do because I was in a new state. I had been in that new state for maybe a couple weeks. I didn't know where anything was. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have any family. And I walked out. I never returned. I went and volunteered at the Red Cross for a while until I started running out of money. And then I tried to go back to work, and I wasn't able to find really a lot of opportunities. I was doing dental assisting, and a lot of people weren't really worried about their teeth at that point. They weren't really thinking about hiring. So, and my health also through this circumstance caused so much stress that it moved my health into, again, not such a great place. And I had to figure out what I was going to do. And I had a background in web design, some form of digital marketing, graphic design. I had been building websites since 1998. And I thought, well, maybe I could do that. And I reached out to a friend of a friend and went for an interview, and they kind of laughed at me. They were like, no, I don't think so. Because I thought I was better than I was, I think at the time, I was like, I'm amazing. And they're like, no, go back to school. And so I started to do it on my own. And that's where I am today. I just started doing it on my own, and it's been a way for me to survive, not thrive, but survive over the last 20 years because I only really got a diagnosis and support for my disease in 2018 and 2021. So my life's changed dramatically, but being able to be somebody who does things digitally and work with clients virtually, and even more so since COVID, there's a lot more ability, like, what you're doing, Paul. I know this, you've been doing this, for 3 years. There's a lot more virtual and digital opportunities for me to grow and connect with people, which wasn't like that numerous years ago. So I'm lucky to be in the digital space.
I am enamored with that story in New York, and what an incredible story and you must have experienced during that time. And wow, to be a fly on the wall when that was happening. Well, welcome to Boise, Anya. I know you've moved to Idaho just recently, correct?
Yeah, I relocated here. I decided April 1st that's where I was going, and April 15th I was here.
Okay.
And I'll say this, Paul, it's due to my illness, and so much of that's really impeded my ability to be a part of the world at times, because I've been isolated through my illness with not being able to go out or be in the public with certain things prior to COVID. That, it's been a really great thing to be able to connect and just move quickly, because that's what I do. I pivot. I just have to. My life, that's how I live my life. I make a decision, I do it. I'm a calculated risk taker. So I'm like, all right, April 1st, April Fool's Day, let's go. And then April 15th, I was here. And I can tell you, I've never been more happier in a place I've lived in my entire life.
Wow. That I hear that more and more about the community here, the clean cities that we live in, just the overall vibe of what you're talking about. People are friendly. People let you in traffic. It's really cool. They say hi to you at the grocery store. So I love that. And we want to keep Idaho that way. So I'm glad that you're experiencing that, and congratulations on your next adventure here. Tell us a little bit about Rise Visible. As a digital marketing company, I can imagine with all the competition out there, it must be hard to rise above the rest. So tell us a little bit about what Rise Visible, the origin story of Rise, and some of the services that you offer.
Sure. So when I started this back in the day, really being, an entrepreneur, small business, one-off, just trying to garner, little web design jobs and things like that. Over the years, we've grown to make amazing communications and amazing relationships and partnerships with companies nationwide. Even where we were living before, like I said, I'm from Michigan. I was living in Oregon for a while. I come from an amazingly lovely, beautiful, kind state as well. And, through those transitions, we've made amazing connections worldwide. We don't just really work locally, but we're very focused on where we live locally, no matter what. Like, we really want to build those relationships. That's why I'm a part of the chamber, because our community is really where we need the most support, where we need the most care, where we get the passion to go beyond and do national things, right? Like, it's the roots from home. And so we grew to a national and even national based brand. And we work with small businesses or even independent people all the way up to $6 million companies.
Wow.
And we do things, we do the whole gamut. We really can come in and start your brand. If you don't know, if you have a brand and you're needing web development, we can work from that, like you had mentioned earlier, Paul, about e-commerce or educational platforms. We don't use third parties. We code out and build educational platforms native to WordPress sites. Then we can move right into e-commerce. We can move into social marketing. We don't love that. No one does. But we can, help people come up with strategies. And then we also do consulting. So we're really big about tech stacks in businesses. So often when you're looking at a tech stack with marketing, it can be very convoluted. So they may have a phone system, and they may have email marketing going out over here, and they may have, their customer service communication held here. And so we help streamline tech stacks and help implement systems so that you can save money, but also it alleviates stress. So for me, being somebody with health issues, I've always really been driven to create things streamlined, no matter what we're doing. Make it easy for people, make it easy for clients to understand, make it streamlined, even in the process of web development or marketing. We try to really come down and just, we don't talk above people. You hear that a lot with digital marketing or tech, where people will just talk above, and then people are like, sure, yes, okay, we'll do that. We try to really get people hands-on. When we build websites, we get our clients in there so they can update their sites if they want to. They can be hands-on in the process. We don't just come in with digital marketing and go, this is how it is. We learn the business and we find out what kind of level of commitment or energy they want to put into it. And then we like to team up. So we really love partnerships. And yeah, the digital noise is extensive, but we believe more than anything, and you probably do too, from a community base, when you are authentic, you are transparent, you are vulnerable, and you are real, and you're a storyteller, people will love you. They just will, because we want authenticity. We want people to be real. So what? You mess up, you screw up, you're human. I think we're, as a community and as people, it's hard to look at things that are always picture perfect and packaged in a perfect thing, right? It's like people love real. And so that's what we try to do. With our marketing and all the things we do, we really try to create this reality of truth and who people are, and not create a persona. Do you have to be professional? Yes. Are we into aesthetics? Yes. Are we into marketing jargon and terminology and doing things that way too? But yeah, let's be real. And it's a vulnerable place to be, but I like it that way.
Wow. I love that story. And you really get to the real, genuine feeling of Rise Visible. You'd mentioned that branding and web design and content marketing and the e-learning websites and the e-commerce websites. How many e-commerce websites have you worked with, Anya? And have you seen a rise in companies taking products and selling them online? Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Oh, geez, hundreds of e-commerce sites. I mean, it's been 25 years, so we've done a lot. But you're right. That's a great question. Has there been a rise? Yes, there's been a huge rise, especially with COVID. You've noticed a lot of businesses that have brick and mortars or have been able to operate more in the physical space, even just artists and vendors, right? Who maybe did events more often or did markets, right? Would have to move online. So we shifted not only, larger businesses to sell their, retail products online, but we've also helped, artisans and other people be able to find ways to create an income stream. I mean, it's not super easy. I don't want to say that like, oh, okay, you get online and you put stuff online, you're going to make sales. There's obviously other tools that go along with it, but it's another way to create a stream. It's another way to create some sense of security when the world is an interesting place, right? So we've seen an uptick for sure.
I love seeing the strength of retail as well, because that's my background, and then the strength of online sales too. And they're both, slightly rising. So I think it's great. Okay. Email marketing, consulting, and social media. Tell us a little bit about your consulting.
So consulting is usually coming in and working directly with an independent business, a person looking at what their needs are. I can't tell you how many times somebody comes in, to our office or calls me and says, I don't even know where to begin. Like, I have a thing, I have a product, I have an idea, or I'm already doing the thing, but I'm not getting any traffic, or I don't know, I'm not ranking on Google. We get that all the time. Like, rank us on Google, right? Because we do SEO. And, so for us, it's really looking at the need of what the person or company is needing and being able to meet them where they are and those needs and consult them into and consult with them, not consult them, but consult with them and find out what we can do. And sometimes we've even come in and we've set other people up to do other things. Like maybe they already have a team and they have somebody and we need to help them. Like, let's get your social media up, or we need to have somebody on our team who wants to do newsletters, but we don't know the software. We don't know templates. And we just come in and we set companies up with that and help them choose. We bring up pricing, we bring up companies, we bring up reviews of things that we have tried and true tested that we know work based, because it's going to be different for everybody. Like maybe a company is going to use ActiveCampaign for email marketing, but another company may need to go to a high level HubSpot because they're also doing customer service, and you can handle all of that in a bigger system. Right?
Okay.
Or you could go simple and you could just be like, I'm an artist and I'm using MailChimp and it's free. Right. So we help that, because and now with the rise of AI, I can't tell you how much more now people are like, well, oh my goodness, there's just so many things. So we try to just make it easier and help you guys make the decision of what's going to best fit.
I love that, Anya. Just talking with you, I understand. I love how you dumb it down for me a little bit too. One thing that I can see that's really credible is when you're talking about working with your customers, meeting them where they are and consulting with them. Mm-hmm. I was reviewing your beautiful website, by the way, very well organized. I found all the information I needed on it. But what I was most delighted to see was the hundreds of testimonials from your clients. And that is by far, if you're a business and you're wondering what your SEO is, or if you're looking at elevating and your visibility with branding, give Anya a call, because from what I see from your testimonials are people that found. So kudos to you, young lady.
Aw, thank you. Well, I will say something about testimonials, because we talk about this and we help we help businesses get testimonials, because that's a great way to improve SEO and also, authority in your industry. But make sure when you're reviewing people's websites and they have testimonials up there that they're legitimate, because you could read all those, Paul, right? Yeah. You can go like, oh yeah, she's amazing. You can match all those back to Google My Business. So we pull them off of there, and those are often vetted very well. So if you go to a website and you read reviews, make sure you go to their Google My Business, because those are vetted by Google. You make sure that somebody isn't just pulling up nonsense and putting it on there. So ours are legitimate, but it's just something to remember, because we don't want to be fooled. And that's the other thing we do on our blog, is we share a lot of tips and tricks to make sure that businesses aren't being taken advantage of, or that they're getting services like the services they're needing, even if they're going to somebody else, that they're protected and know like what to look out for, so that they are being treated well. It doesn't have to be with us, right? It just means like it's, you might not be the right fit to work with us, but if you're seeking information, our blog is filled with tons of information to protect yourself and, make sure that you're working with the right person for various businesses,
Should you share your negative testimonials as well? I guess those would be testimonials, but I mean, you wonder, like, I'm not always perfect at what I do, but I mean, what do you do about that? Because I remember being an entrepreneur and selling hydration backpacks back in the day, and we'd have failures of the product. Absolutely. And you'd have to deal with it. And, you share the good with the bad. Tell us how we deal with those.
And that's a great question. So when you get negative feedback, we don't have anything. You would not that we haven't got it personally. Everybody does. Yeah. But on Google My Business, don't encourage people, right, to go to leave reviews if you don't feel like that relationship worked out. Sometimes things don't work out. Sometimes it's just a conflict of, personalities. But if you do, this is what we tell all of our clients. If somebody comes up and they put a scathing review, or just like whatever on Google, obviously you don't put them on your website, right? Why advertise them? But that's just what it is. You don't have control over that. You can't remove that review. That's why it's a vetted system. Google vets it, that's just the way it is. But you always want to address them. People that do not address them, it's just really bad for your brand. Ownership, owning what has happened, not a bunch of nonsense. You'll see people that'll come in for a bad review and they'll just be like, well, back to the person. And it starts an argument, although that doesn't allow it to happen, but it doesn't do anything good. And truly, you just come back, you acknowledge what happened, you apologize, and that's it. There's no reason to. Things happen. Why get into an argument about it? But if you don't address it on Google, that looks very bad because you are not, it's like a business. If somebody comes in and complains, you can't just like walk away and ignore them. That's rude. And that's how people feel. So if you come back and acknowledge, I'm so sorry, Sally, that you came to our restaurant and the food was cold and whatever, we're sorry about that. We'd love to offer you this, maybe a discount next time you come in, or just generally an apology. You always want to address negative reviews. You're never going to be perfect. Someone's going to not like you. It's not a good feeling as a business.
Right.
You can be doing everything you want, not everything you want, but you can do everything that you think is going to be the right thing. And somebody's going to just not like you or not be happy with, because we all communicate differently, right? That's one of our big things from our brand. And I don't know if anybody, out there has ever done this. And if you haven't, you should consider it. There's this thing called Clifton Strengths.
Yes.
It's this amazing test that tells you what your strengths are. I think there's 30 of them, and they rank it from, all these different pieces and parts to tell you what your strengths are. And it's extremely informative. And one of ours is communication. That's me. That's the top thing. It's communication responsibility. And that's what businesses need, right? Communication. Let's communicate. It's okay if things don't go right, but as long as you're communicating with people, you can work it out most of the time. You can figure it out, right?
Absolutely. And in the retail business with Albertsons, we went through all types of manager training and customer service training. I'll always remember the word LAST, and it stands as an acronym for listen, ask, solve, and think. So you listen to your customer, ask some questions. What happened? Solve the problem like you're talking about. Hey, offer something, and then thank them for their business. And you can solve so many problems just by using the LAST method. I think that's something that I try to use throughout my career as well. But Anya, thank you so much for the time with you today. I learned a lot, and I know our listeners learned a lot today. I have your website scrolling in the bottom of the screen. You can connect with Anya through here, risevisible.com. Check out all the amazing work and services that she and her team offer. Is there anything else that you'd like to educate the public on while we have you today?
I don't know. When we talked, you said maybe mention that I do art. So I'll just throw that out there. I'm an internationally renowned artist. I show all over the world. I make pretty things, and my website's my name. So AnyaKhan.com. Yeah.
Awesome. Anya, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your membership. Thanks for being in Boise. I look forward to the time that we can cheers. Have a great weekend, Anya.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate being a part of Chamber and being a part of Boise. It's an honor.